I'm 2 days into college.
I hope everybody is having a good remainder of this summer. Now I understand for the younger people in the demographic, it's time to focus on school, get dressed up, at least get back to seeing your friends over a regular basis and get ready for the bigger headaches it is homeworks, missing exams, and being late to class. I've been there. Besides that, we got an NBA and we got a lot of speculation involving both Olympic relation, involving basketball, and what's going on with the NBA offseason. Of course, I put a poll up, and it was incredibly active, possibly the most active I had in the channel. Shout out to you guys. We're near 360 subscribers on the DST show. Appreciate the support. I'll also be addressing the Batman series, going over the Cape Crusader series. That's an exclusive animation series over on Amazon Prime. I'm only up to episode 1. I'll give my first impressions on that in a future upload. But right now, it's about the NBA free agency. Who would be the first to flop? We had a whopping 28% of low expectations on Klay Thompson making his new home with the Dallas Mavericks, knowing his abysmal production in his last season as a Golden State Warrior. DeMar DeRozan having the lowest expectation, getting only 16% of the vote, and we already had somebody just saying that some guys that voted for DeMar DeRozan being like needing medical care. Russell Westbrook, not the most high volume scorer to possibly give energy over to the second unit. He was very exceptional in his Clippers tenure, even though it wasn't even that long. But anything was better than his 1.5 seasons that really didn't help the Los Angeles Lakers. And he's shown to be from an All NBA MVP level guard that can get you triple doubles every night to a person that sporadically can spur over the offense, be productive over in defending, and always be there over transition because his athleticism is still outstanding for a guy that's about to peak at 35. So, and of course, Paul George, that's also getting up there in age, spearing out of his prime, getting ousted away from the Los Angeles Clippers, knowing an underwhelming tenure that he's had over like 6-7 seasons, only making one conference finals appearance, and now he's trying to help a very disappointing, underprocessed Philadelphia 76er squad with Joel Embiid. We have like 18 players over guaranteed deals with getting rotational notable stars, including former Boston Celtic rotation player Gajuan Yabusele from the French national team that was in the gold medal game against the United States and shown to even nearly dunk on LeBron James. So, having that production while still being in a good, decent side, like an undersized Ben Wallace, with returning Andre Drummond, that's kind of been a journeyman over this decade. KJ Martin Jr. still there, with Ricky Council picking up Eric Gordon from the Phoenix Suns, the new young guard Jared McCain with Kyle Lowry staying over an extension deal and picking up Denver Nuggets Reggie Jackson. From any more perspective with this starting rotation, you'd think you got a league MVP Joel Embiid, right? You got Kelly Oubre. Paul George is still one of the best forwards in the NBA. And Tyrese Maxey has been possibly one of the best fast rising guards in the NBA. There's no excuse in picking up Caleb Martin. That's always had extensive postseason runs with the Miami Heat. How could we not fail? That's what you guys saw in 2019. You guys are just a rehash of the mid-90s Knicks. No offense to Joel Embiid, but he's been nothing but either missing out majority of postseason appearances and only performing when their team is near the cusp of elimination, getting upsetted by better teams, or just sporadically underperforming supporting cast that get you 0 for 10 and miss a chance for a conference finals appearance. Or conference semifinals appearances. Just anything except the second round. Let's just keep it a buck. I don't know what this has when you just always think the mentality of having a super team is when Paul George has already passed, hit a wall when it came to production, star power, or overall taking over games, because he's just gonna, instead of that explosive athleticism with a great moving jump shot, what he had over when he was in Indiana and OKC, he is sporadically less athletic. He's gonna spot over his shots and utilize just another offensive ready player. The only defensive savvy players you guys have is either Embiid that can shot block, Caleb Martin that's a small ball rotation player that usually he plays either the wing, and Kelly Oubre. That's the only productive energy ridden guy that you guys have that you bought off waivers that has actually been good off rotations for this Sixers squad. And in my opinion, I'm not even going off the list. This is just off merit. That I just feel like Paul George is possibly not going to change how the Sixers play. Because at least over the exception of Maxey that came out of nowhere over his sophomore or rookie season, producing at an all-star level, James Harden was supposed to be the complementary secondary piece that took over majority of times, and this time it's over Maxey, and then we got a guy that barely even shows up in the playoffs. What's the excuses there? And then you don't even try to extend over Buddy Hield for perimeter working over a cooked Eric Gordon, Reggie Jackson that's only like a spur of the moment huss player, and Yabusele that's coming over the Olympics, being the only like decent enough forward that could hustle over and play defense. And Andre Drummond's always going to be that just rotation, Shaqtin' a full shot blocker. And no one's saying that he isn't very good, but it's just hit a wall when it comes to depth. If this was 2018, this would be an exception. Like 2018-19, this would be an exceptional roster. The only thing is Tyrese Maxey wouldn't have been drafted, or Jared McCain. But knowing this, this probably be a 49 win team. And the same thing I expected over when when the Clippers signed James Harden. They're going to be an exceptional regular season team, but when it comes to it matters the most, you have three proven postseason chokers with the bare minimum when they were the number one option. Barely even got them to the conference finals when they were the top option, or a finals appearance. And you have Kawhi Leonard that's shot his knees and meniscus for the past 4 to 5 seasons. And we're still over-relying on him being the top options. And now you get a guy that barely shows up? Getting cooked by PJ Washington? That's your proven commodity over a super team that he left because the Clippers thought he wasn't worth the money. Not because he was disgruntled. Because he knows his performances really hasn't gotten that much success from the previous franchise. So I'm sorry if you think this is considered hate, but it just makes sense. At least DeMar DeRozan was on a flaming Chicago Bulls team that really hasn't got any freaking ambition to actually move something with the franchise. Klay Thompson trying to rebuild himself over with a franchise that's really trying to age out of their big three that's really not going to be competing for championships anytime soon. And Westbrook always in a three-way dance involving the Utah Jazz in every trade around the offseason or deadline. I don't even know why the Jazz always correspond like, we could just reap over the benefits of other big market teams and correspond involving their big players, moving the other franchises. We just want to pick or a few rotation players involved. Like, I don't know how the Jazz get away with that. And still, Lauri Markkanen doesn't want to go. And that's insane. That's insane to me. But just knowing that Paul George is the highest over in the list, but just by a small margin. Like, we got a 28% for Klay and 27%. That just shows over these guys hitting the wall. You guys still think that these are Premier League guys to lead a franchise for the next 5 seasons when they probably got like 3 or two left in them, including Paul George. That it's a shoulda, woulda, coulda for him, because this nigga already got a podcast. Why the fuck are you barely have any team success over a majority of the 4 teams you've been in, and you're talking over a podcast like I really gotta hear your thoughts when you're still playing the fucking game. And now I understand having that inside notion and getting that intermediate experience involving the players actually having their own media coverage is cool experience. You can see that over with Draymond Green. And then I hear fucking Gilbert Arenas. Like, I don't feel like this is for everybody. Like, come on, man. And I understand some takes would be hot, some takes were not, and some people would say something out of pocket. You could say that they don't deserve, or they shouldn't be allowed to have a podcast, but guess what? It's a free country. Anybody has that explicit notion to share their own views, even if they think it's unnecessary. That's how it works. I just don't know why the fuck Paul George needs one when he literally is playing. It should be concentrating on playing. If he wants his own side gig to make over a different source over a revenue content or a different type of identity, just say that your career is nearly over. At least Draymond got like 4 rings. I'm okay with him talking. Paul George just going over and sugarcoating that he's pushing over his other team's previous franchises under the bus whenever it comes to his own reason why he's not really the reason why the team ever gets successful. And then he sugarcoats tampering over with Embiid over in the middle of the offseason during the postseason to even join him for a super team when you're literally in the same position Chris Webber was when he joined the Philadelphia 76ers. And they always do this when they get an all-NBA player that hit the wall, barely made the postseason, barely made the All-Star team in a while, barely make the conference finals in a while. And they just think because you're a name value player to sell shirts and still not a proven commodity over in a long-term investment with your aging MVP. If it does not ring a bell, Allen Iverson was also an MVP for the Sixers when he had Chris Webber back in 2006. This is the same scenario also when they got James Harden back over for the Ben Simmons trade. Like, you guys, the Sixers just pack it up. No offense. I like Maxey. I'm not saying that Paul George isn't a great player. But when it comes to overall track record, most of the conversation is either on the Celtics repeating, probably over the revamped depth of the Mavericks. Maybe they could actually run it back to the finals if they play their cards right. The Sacramento Kings are producing well. The Thunder just had possibly the best offseason in recent memory, picking up young depth over in the process, getting a highly productive center from the Knicks out of Isaiah Hartenstein, and getting one of the best defending guards in the NBA that also is a proven champion with Alex Caruso. What the fuck has Paul George done over the past half decade? Please explain that to me. Tell me how you guys feel down below. I understand that was a bit harsh, but I'm just going over, like, this is what vents me over when you pick up anybody that was a former Clipper. Thanks for watching over in the DST show. Like, comment, subscribe for more. That's it for me.